What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Apollo HOU YouTube channel. I'm here today with Katie and Kevin Lind.
Hello.
This is so exciting. Katie Lind, defender for the Houston Dash, and her husband, Kevin. This is going to be a really fun interview. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're just going to be talking. Thanks you guys for coming out.
Thanks for having us.
This is so cool. Really appreciate having you guys on. We're trying to get a lot more coverage on the site of the Houston Dash and of the NWSL. It's just a really cool league, and it's growing right now. It's a really fun time to be a part of the NWSL. So excited to have you on.
Thank you. Yes, thanks for having us. I know we're excited to dive into all things soccer and not soccer.
And not soccer, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I've listened to a couple other interviews you've done, a couple other podcasts and stuff you've done. I've heard you talk a lot about TV shows.
Yes.
So I'm excited to talk about what TV shows y'all been watching recently.
We could be here for a long time. We could be here for a long, long time.
Yeah, but I want to start kind of at the beginning of your soccer journey.
Okay.
You know, obviously, you start playing soccer when you were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But at what point did it go from like, yay, little baby Katie's playing soccer to like, I'm serious about this. Like I'm going to be a professional. Like, when did you make that transition?
Yeah. So growing up, I played a bunch of different sports. I played soccer, basketball, karate, tried swimming and volleyball. That didn't really work out. Ran cross country. So I was doing everything. So super busy growing up. But I think it was my sophomore year of high school. I had to make a decision, between basketball and soccer. And at that point, soccer had kind of given me a lot of opportunities that basketball just wasn't. I was getting called into youth national team camps, ODP camps, and just getting a lot of looks and notoriety around that. So, yeah, it was a really hard decision. But
so you were getting called into like youth national team stuff, and you were still like, I could be an NBA player, like a WNBA player.
I know.
Like, you was like,
my coach was really sad. My basketball coach was really upset. He was like, I think you could have been a two-sport college athlete. And I was like, maybe, but it just was so hard to juggle everything at that time. So for me, soccer just kind of showing promise. So I felt like I had to give it a chance.
So it was like your sophomore year of high school when you were finally like, like I'm so much better than these other kids. Like I got it. Like these kids suck, and I'm going places.
Yeah, pretty much. Just like, you know what? I'm dominating, so I need to see where this is gonna take me.
Okay, cool. So have you always been a defender like the entire time? Or?
No.
Okay.
I actually started as a winger.
Oh,
when I was young in rec league. I don't know. Did you know that?
I don't think I did.
Yeah.
I've always known her as the defender.
Yeah,
so.
I started as like a winger or as an outside back. And then when I was real little, we always rotated positions, obviously, but kind of fell in love with the sweeper position when that was still a thing, when there was like sweeper stopper. And then from there, I've pretty much been a defender ever since. Sometimes I'll get thrown up at the 9 in college just to see if I could flick something on or use my body.
I mean, you scored a couple goals as a professional here and there. So,
mostly with my head, so that's okay. I'll take it. A goal is a goal, right?
Yeah, for sure. What do you remember your first professional goal and like what that was like for you?
I do. It was actually not in the NWSL. It was in the Australian League.
Oh, yeah. You did play in Australia.
I played in Australia. Yeah, it was really cool. It really wasn't that exciting, if
Oh.
I'm being honest. I think it was off a corner. It kind of dribbled to me and I hit it in, but we still lost that game, so it really wasn't memorable. But my dad texted me after he had watched it, I think, on a stream, and he was like, "Congratulations on your first professional goal." And I was like, "Thanks, Dad." Like 16 hours late, given the time change.
So, like, you like how hyped were you in that moment? You said it wasn't like an exciting goal or whatever, but it was still like, I made it.
It was still exciting. I mean, it's still an accomplishment and a box checked. So that was cool.
Cool. So. Sophomore year of high school, you decide that I'm going to like do this with my life.
Mm-hmm.
Was the NWSL like around at that point? Was that like a thought in your mind, or were you looking at only going to Australia or Europe or whatever?
Honestly, it wasn't a thing yet. It really wasn't very stabilized, and we hadn't really seen many players come in. I don't even know if this rendition of the league was around yet. I think it was the WPS. So for me, I really looked up to the U.S. women's national team because they were dominant, still are, but they were just a force. So it was really cool to see, some of my idols growing up were Christine Lilly, Julie Foudy, Mia Hamm, obviously. So the legends, and just to kind of look up to them and try and get to where they are. So that was for me my goal at the time.
Cool. And you went to Notre Dame. Y'all
I
both went to Notre Dame.
We did.
What was Notre Dame like? I went to Baylor, so it's a Baptist school, so like
Go Bears.
We relate a little bit. Sick 'em Bears, yeah. But I know that Notre Dame is first of all just way bigger, and it's also like a Catholic college. So like, what's the college experience like at Notre Dame?
How many people do you think go to Notre Dame? Actually,
50K. I don't
Man,
know.
Really?
That's the best.
That's
the
the
absolute
best.
best. 9,000 people.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Notre Dame. So this big, university with this grand name and everything, and it's a pit stop off of I-80 in Indiana. It's I think it's not when we were there it was like 8,500 undergrad and 9,500 with grad students and law students.
Yes,
Yep.
it's a small school.
So you have 1,000 athletes too, and I think we had 28 Division I teams. So it's like high school in that sense, where it's like everybody knows everybody.
It's a glorified high school.
Yeah.
That's mind blowing
Yep.
because their stadium is like freaking huge.
Yeah, it's like
like,
I think
just
it's
thought,
80,000 or whatever it is. Yeah.
See, Baylor Stadium is like 45,000.
Really?
Seats. Yeah, and we have like 15,000 undergrad. I think 16,000. I just assumed that Notre Dame was just like 3 times bigger.
Yeah. It's in Big Ten country too, so you would think it's got to be the size of Michigan or Wisconsin or Indiana.
Yeah, it's like right outside Chicago,
Right.
relatively. Like,
It's a small school.
Damn.
I know. But everyone always thinks that, so you're not alone.
Okay,
in that.
cool.
But
I'm
I mean,
I'm not the only idiot.
yeah. Have you ever been?
No.
Oh,
I've been to Chicago, but not like to
South Bend.
Never had reason to go.
Yeah.
South Bend.
But
Maybe
yeah,
one day.
I mean, I loved my time at Notre Dame. It honestly was a dream. Went there primarily for soccer, but also it's a prestigious university, so to get a great education as well. Because I can't, unfortunately, play soccer forever. And then I met my future husband there. So
what were you doing at Notre Dame?
Yeah, Kev, what were you doing at Notre Dame?
I certainly wasn't there for academics, that's for sure. So, no, I was on the hockey team, and obviously men's hockey and women's soccer have a rapport for whatever reason. So I was
going to say, that's not obvious.
Yeah. I guess.
We're not the first
it's like,
couple to get married.
We are not. Yeah. There was actually one of my teammates, she didn't play with the girl, but he was 2 grades above me, and his wife, Jessica was her name. Very similar story to Katie, center back at Notre Dame. So something about those Notre Dame center backs, like the hockey boys. Yeah,
that's the spot. All
yeah.
right. But yeah, college hockey. So I guess Houston, Texas, my whole life, I know nothing about hockey.
Yeah.
Like we don't have a team down here. I don't pay that much attention. I know the Stars got smoked on their way out, like the NHL playoffs, whatever. But so I assume, like, I've heard Notre Dame hockey before. Like, that's a pretty prestigious gig to get. So you must be pretty freaking good, huh?
Yeah, I was all right growing up. Bit of a late bloomer. I mean, kind of a weird story. They were extremely prestigious and kind of, they had the reputation of really going after players like her, youth national team players, for hockey. So I wasn't a youth national team player. So it took me a little bit longer. I was always sending letters, and they kind of got free recruiting out of me. My oldest brother went there as just a regular student. So being 90 miles away from Chicago, it's the closest Division I school to Chicago. So when I was making my decision, that was, extremely important. My parents could be far enough away, but close enough to come to every home game. And my time there was great. My freshman year, we had 12 guys in my class out of 27 on the team. So, a lot of guys that you're going through the same struggle with. We were picked to finish like last in our conference, and we went to the Final Four, which we call the Frozen Four. So that was very cool. Got to play in a Frozen Four right away. And then my sophomore year, we moved into a $52 million brand new rink. So the rink was nice. The rink was nice enough that the Blackhawks actually came there twice and had training camp there.
Wow.
So very cool stories of hanging out with Patrick Kane and Jonathan Tays on some late nights during training camp. So
perfect timing.
It was great. It was great. So I loved my time there. Unfortunately, neither of us never got to bring home a national championship, but just like she said, the education that you get, just in case, I made it to the American Hockey League, which they used to have the Arrows here, so I played in that league. But whether you're 10 or 40, somebody is going to tell you that you can't play anymore. So I think that's why went into our decision to go to Notre Dame and get that degree.
And so now you no longer playing hockey. Do y'all live in Houston now, or do y'all still live in Chicago?
Oh, we're in Houston now. Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be kind of hard, I guess, full time. But yeah, after we got married this year, Kevin decided to come down and live with me, which was really nice. So we have a house now and 2 dogs, living the suburban life.
Yeah.
But yeah, feeling really adult.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good. Houston's treated us well.
You signed an extension to stay in Houston.
I did.
So,
yeah.
Seems like you like it.
I do. Yeah, Houston's been great.
How would you compare it to Chicago? Like, what was kind of like the biggest, like, culture shock for you?
Well, I never envisioned myself living in Texas.
Yeah.
I had teammates at Notre Dame that were obsessed. They're mostly from Dallas, Fort Worth area, and
That checks out.
Yep, yep. So I was like, what is going on in Texas? Like, I just didn't understand. And then I got here and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I see. But yeah, people are very passionate about their Texas heritage. For me, though, I mean, the weather is pretty different. It does get humid in Chicago, but nothing like here. But I think just the Southern hospitality, there really is something to be said about it. Everyone was so welcoming and just made me feel like I belonged here. So that was a really nice, smooth transition for me to come. And then the food's great, coffee's great. Yeah, can't complain.
I was shocked. Obviously, she's traded for somebody pretty important,
Right.
a family that's kind of important to this area. And, that was my biggest worry was what's the reaction going to be when, kind of a celebrity and a forward, someone who scores goals, gets traded for someone who, is more inclined to shut them down rather than score goals. So,
Right.
But Houston is home for us now. Everybody's been so welcoming, from the groups and the fans and even the players and the teammates that she gets to play with. We're from Chicago, but it just didn't feel like home for her. So coming down here, it's just been great to see how welcoming everyone has been to her. That's the biggest thing for me is her husband, and her biggest fan is like, man, I just hope that people are nice and cheering for her, and it's been great so far.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
really
awesome. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I only started really watching soccer, like the MLS and the NWSL this year, but I've loved watching you play. I love the way you play. You're always kind of like you're like the calm one when everyone is freaking out on the field, and I love that. I'm like, we need more of those people in life. We need a Katie Lind. Like, stuff's on fire at work, but like, calm down, everyone. Like,
Calm,
recenter.
cool, and collected.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to
Also,
be. At
I
least.
see when the Dash like post to YouTube like videos of like, the highlights throughout the game or whatever. You're always the one like in the middle of the huddle, like hyping people up. Like,
Yep.
how did you have you always been like that kind of leader, or did you
No.
just kind of okay, cool. So yeah, how'd that
Yeah.
kind of happen for you? How'd you kind of transition into being like a leader for the Dash?
Yeah, so I feel like I've always kind of led by example. I have never really been the biggest talker or speaker. I feel like I'm capable in those situations, but last year we had a pretty, up and down season with coaches, kind of in and out. So for us, it was just about sticking together, making sure that the group was all on the same page. So Jane Campbell wore the armband, and she said, if I wear the armband, you have to give the pregame speeches. And I was like, fair enough. So that was kind of how that deal was struck. And then this year with Sophie Schmidt being our captain, she kind of just carried that tradition on. And she said, Katie, can you please continue to do the pregame speeches? Because I don't want to. So I was like, yes, Soph, I can do that for you. So, I think it's something that just kind of hopefully gets us on the right track before a game and in the right mindset. So
She's being modest. She
Yeah.
was a captain her sophomore year at Notre Dame. She was a tri-captain for 3 years. So
Yes.
don't listen to her. She's full of shit.
Well, I mean, it was a
Being
leader,
humble.
but I don't know. I'm not like the biggest hype woman, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, you're not usually Drew Brees in the huddle.
No,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
But I
I'm
mean,
not
you're
calling
doing
audibles and stuff.
You're
but-
doing a good job now. Like,
Thanks.
It's
Thanks.
always cool watching those videos every time. But so you kind of talked about how you had like an up and down season last year with coaches and stuff like that, and then coming into this season it was a little bit of a rocky start, but y'all seem to be kind of on a winning track now. Y'all won a couple games in a row.
Knock on wood,
Things
yeah.
are looking up. So I guess just kind of tell, like, a lot of our audience is baseball fans, obviously.
Yeah.
So just kind of tell people about the team and, kind of the identity of the team and the culture of the team.
Yeah, so for us, we did have actually a strong start. It was just we didn't get the points that we needed. So For us, it's just kind of about the blue collar mentality, working hard on and off the field, making sure that we're doing the little things. Our coach, Sam Lady, he's really big on the details. So in training every week, we're working on really specific things, tactics, technical, everything that encompasses. And then come game time, it's really up to us. So making sure that we just hammer out all the things that we need to get done and making sure that we represent the city of Houston well on the field, because H-Town hold it down.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so are y'all big sports fans outside of soccer? Do y'all spend time watching other sports, or are you just like?
I'll let Kevin take this
Oh,
one.
okay.
Katie's a typical Cubs fan.
Okay, here
Oh.
we go.
She likes them when they're good. In 2016, she was a huge fan, and since she doesn't care anymore.
Hey, fair enough.
Classic Cubs fan. So
Why waste your time rooting for
why
a bunch
wait?
of losers?
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, at the
Yeah,
moment.
it's definitely me who's more of a sports fan, I would say.
Yeah. He's an encyclopedia of sports knowledge. I'm not kidding. He knows everything.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
are your favorite sports? Hockey, I'm assuming.
yeah, hockey. It really is baseball.
Baseball.
The White Sox. I watched. Obviously, they're having such a brutal season this year, but kind of digging out of it. But yeah, I would say baseball, just because similar to her story, I had to choose between baseball and hockey at 16 as well. So when that kind of came along, I've seen the professional side of things in hockey, and I've seen, that avenue and stuff. And for me, it was just always an escape. Baseball, I played in the summer just to get away from hockey. So that's what it really was I'm more of a fan of baseball and football and golf and those types of things that, you were never able to experience at the highest level or some of the higher levels. So I'll watch hockey, and, obviously got the Stanley Cup finals going on right now. So watching that a little bit, and it's always cool to see some of my former teammates or guys I played against. I think that's the coolest, most rewarding thing. So hockey is kind of nostalgia to watch, and then, I can get crazy in baseball and the Bears and stuff like that. So
Crazy is an
Bears fan.
understatement.
yeah, Bears fan. Go Lovey.
Justin Fields believer?
I am, big time.
Okay, yeah.
Big time. I love the kid. And every report you see, he's the first guy in and the last guy out. They're doing OTAs. They're in like day 10 of OTAs, and they were letting the veterans leave early. And one of the rookies was like, when I left, Justin's car was still in the parking lot. So we haven't had anything like that. We've had decent quarterbacks, but guys with that mentality and that work ethic. And a lot of guys would rest on the year that they had last year and the rushing record and things like that. But you can tell that he really takes the heart of the city, on his shoulders, and we're just so excited, and we love him. So we're excited for him.
I think Justin Fields is going to be so fucking good.
Yeah.
I do too. And we got DJ Moore this year.
Yeah.
Mooney's coming back. They got Komet. I think you're going to see big things from Claypool this year. He got traded in kind of a weird time. Mid-season trades in the NFL, especially for a receiver, it's tough. You know what I mean? You don't know the playbook and everything. So once they get a summer under their belt, I think they're going to be really good. So we're excited.
Dope. And Katie's just sitting over there like, what?
She's like,
whatever.
what are those? She's like, what are those guys talking about, and who are those people?
I know some. Claypool and Komet went to Notre Dame.
That's true. Yeah.
Shout
See?
out.
Yeah.
Hey, go
You know,
Irish.
see, it feels like a big school. Y'all are just everywhere.
Yeah.
No, we
Yeah.
are.
It feels
I
like
know.
y'all way more alumni than a 9,000 student base.
I
I
know.
know, it's crazy.
You would think we were, 50K, like you said.
Yeah.
So when you're not playing soccer, are you watching other soccer, or are you just like, I'm out? Like, I don't.
Depends. So sometimes I just need a break. Just need to get away. But I do like to see other NWSL games. I mean, it's competition, so I want to kind of scout them, I guess, in a
True,
little
yeah.
bit. But yeah, other than that, I do pretty much disengage
So yeah,
from
you're not sitting
soccer.
around watching like Premier League or.
No,
whatever.
unless it's a really big game. Some of my teammates are obsessed, so I'll let them do that. But me, I really like true crime, and Kevin
True
lets me
crime.
watch true crime. He'll entertain me sometimes and watch the shows with me. But
So true crime, you do the shows. Are you into the podcast and stuff too?
oh
or
yeah,
just- okay.
I got a tattoo
Oh.
of an acronym for my favorite true crime podcast called My Favorite Murder.
Oh, I've heard of My Favorite Murder. I've never listened to it, but I've heard of it.
Yep, and the acronym is Stay Sexy, Don't Get Murdered. So Yeah, I got that on my
That's
middle finger.
dope. Okay,
Yeah.
So what are your favorite like true crime shows? Like other than
Shows?
My Favorite Murder.
Yeah, I think shows, man. The one I just finished, I don't know if it was true crime, but Perry Mason was pretty good. That was on HBO. The one that really kind of stuck with me was called The Last Night.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah,
What's that about?
that one is about a kid. He's in New York. He is what is he? He works with the basketball team. He's like the equipment manager. And then he wants to go out with the team, but he takes his father's taxi and he gets pulled over. Picks up a girl after, and then the girl ends up getting murdered. But they think it's him. And then it's this whole unraveling of everything that went down, and he thinks he did it. He doesn't know. Like, it's
He
crazy.
thinks he did it.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's wild.
Is
but
this on HBO?
I think it's
or-
HBO.
Okay, The
Yeah.
Last Night. I'm
The
gonna check
Last
that out.
Night.
That
Yeah.
sounds dope.
That one always, I don't know, comes back to my head. But I've seen so many, they kind of all blur together now.
So is that what you watch like most in like when you're watching TV, or do you watch like I don't know Game of Thrones or
Watch Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Yes, did watch that. We watched Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso? Okay.
yeah.
I've still never seen Ted Lasso. Everyone tells me it's amazing, and I need to watch it.
You gotta watch
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
good.
I'm
It is
also
good.
taking credit.
Here we go.
I think I was the first person ever to see that show because it like quietly came out season 1 on Apple TV, and I remember I was sitting at my brother's house and he had Apple TV, and I just remember seeing Sudeikis up there, and I was like, "What is this?" And put on the first episode, and I told her, and I was like, "Man, you got to watch this show." And then I was
Yeah.
just starting to tell people. Megan Rosa, one of her old teammates, I told them about it, and like 2 weeks later, I get a text from a guy. He's like, "Man, you weren't kidding. This show is hilarious." I'm gonna miss it. I hope they do some kind of spin-off or something because
Yeah.
it was getting awesome. They're going to the Champions League and everything. Like we all wanted to see what was gonna happen. So
Yeah.
we love Ted.
Yeah, we love Ted.
There were some days
Believe.
when I walked in here and they were watching Ted Lasso, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?"
What is the show? This is baseball. We're watching soccer.
Yeah,
That's funny.
But it's that's all good. So Kevin, what's your favorite stuff to watch? Are you into the true crime stuff too, or you just watch it because she watches it?
He'll get into it.
Yeah, I'll watch a little bit of it.
Yeah.
More sports, Game of Thrones. We actually just finished a pretty interesting. What would you even call it? It was called A Small Light. It was from like
Oh.
National Geographic or
Yeah.
something, and it was the
Like a
Anne
historical
the Anne
docuseries.
Frank story about their
Oh.
family, but it's written from the perspective of the girl that hid them.
Oh,
So her name was
Meep.
Meep.
That sounds really good.
It
Yeah,
was
it was
really
really good.
interesting. So she was, I think, Gentile, right? And she hid them in their work warehouse for like 2 years or something. But it just shows the stress that she went through and what a great person she was. And she ended up getting out, even after they found that she was hiding Jews and things like that. But it just gives you a completely new perspective on life. And there were multiple times where, they're showing the atrocities and you just turn to each other and we're like, how could this have happened? And
Right.
it was just super interesting because I think, that stuff kind of gets lost as you get older. You're not really learning too much about
Yeah,
history
you're not
anymore.
really
You're not in
thinking about it
school,
that
right?
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of we really enjoyed it. I think
Yeah,
it was
it's
like
really
8
good.
episodes or something.
Yeah.
So
A Small Light and
a Small Light.
The
It's
Last
actually the
Night.
night of. I was getting
The
the,
Night
Last
of,
of
yeah.
Us and that show confused. So it's the night of.
The
not
Night
Night
yes,
of.
The night
Okay.
of.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna add those to my list.
Mhm.
I'm more of a movie guy than a TV guy, just 'cause I don't have the time to watch a lot of TV. I like 2 hours in and out, done. kind of
What do you
Fair.
watch? Like what kind of movies?
All of them.
All of them?
All of
I
them.
write reviews for the site here, so I do like
Oh, that's
I go to
awesome.
pretty much everything I can in theaters.
How's
you-
Guardians 3?
Loved it.
Good?
Fantastic.
We haven't seen it yet. We got to
haven't
see
seen it.
that.
We do have to see
We
it.
all
We
went and
gotta
saw it
rewatch
together.
it.
That movie rules.
Does it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
We should start.
So
we gotta
good.
watch 1 and 2 again.
How would you
So I
rank
gotta
it?
refresh it.
1, 3, 2? You think 3 is
I think 3 is better.
3 is better than 1?
3 is better than 1.
Wow.
Really?
It's just like the
Wow.
emotional payoff of it all.
Okay,
Man, that's
okay.
good.
It's
We
all
like to hear
there.
that. So
That
we
is
can
good.
agree 2 is
2, honestly, I don't even remember that much of 2.
Yeah.
I watched it like once or twice and then just never really thought about it again. to
yeah.
be
2 is
honest.
the one where
Fair.
like Kurt Russell's the dad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was all right.
Hey.
One,
I don't remember that much either, actually.
yeah, Kurt Russell's Star Lord's
Oh,
dad.
okay.
and-
Ego or whatever.
yeah, that one was kind of
I don't remember that much.
mid, as
First
the
one
kids
was
say.
good,
Mid.
Very,
though. Oh my
very mid.
God.
Cool. We haven't talked about soccer like almost at all, but
It's okay.
hey, it's fun. So what else are you doing with your free time? I listened to a podcast you did a little while ago, You were talking a lot about baking. Are you still baking?
Yes, I do. My teammates love my chocolate chip cookies, my
Okay.
homemade chocolate chip cookies. So I try and make those as frequently as I can. But I have tried to branch out and make other stuff.
Like what?
I made these, when was this? I think it was Christmas time. These Nutella stuffed cookies.
Ooh.
And then these salted pretzel cookies.
Salted pretzel cookies. Okay.
Yes, they were pretty good.
You made caramel last week.
I made caramel.
Caramel.
Or caramel,
however
however you
you
want
wanna
to say
say
it.
I'm a caramel guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm caramel
I
too.
agree.
Yeah, my
Car-
teammate wanted some caramel.
Maybe I think it's like caramel when it's on something, but I think they're
Exactly.
caramels.
Caramels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you have the
I like that
individuals, maybe.
distinction.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
Okay.
give me a caramel.
Right.
Right. Give me a
But,
caramel.
but
Yeah.
It's a caramel cookie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
I'm the same way with pecan and pecan.
Okay.
Like, it's pecan pie.
Yep.
But they're
But they're pecans.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Not enough people have that where they're like it's one or the other. Like
Yeah.
no, we can.
No, we're nuanced people.
Right.
we know.
Obviously.
Yeah.
We're not smooth brain people over here. Lots of folds
Lots
in these
of folds.
brains.
Okay.
No.
Good.
But okay, so next time I see you, I'm hoping to try the chocolate chip cookies.
Okay.
I told her she needs to get like a pop-up shop going around here.
Oh,
Kate,
yeah.
Katie's
For sure.
cookies,
Katie's
or
Cookies.
something. She's got the Dash fans behind her and everything. So I'll sell them, man. I'll be back there in a baker's hat handing them
You
out.
would
You know
So
be.
what?
He
Next
would
time we
be.
do a watch party with Apollo, we're gonna have a little table with Katie's
we got to do it.
cookies
Katie's
Amazing.
for
cookies.
sale. We're
Okay.
gonna sell the t-shirts on one side, Katie's cookies on the other side. Everybody wins.
Yeah,
There we go.
we like that.
I love it.
So, I think we're at about time here. So I'm gonna wrap it up there. I love you guys.
Thanks,
We
Dex.
probably have to have y'all come back on because I feel like we have so much more to talk about.
Yeah, for
But,
sure.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, watch the Houston Dash,
Yes.
and support Katie Lind. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys. Dash on.
Dash on.
Dash on. Bye.